Welcome to Azzy's Guide to Guild Wars 2. We're continuing our series on WvW Basics, and today I wanted to cover battle basics, or what you should know about the most basic elements for fighting in WvW World. I want to apologize because I'm not going to match gameplay footage to actual content. I'm running out of time to try to get these done by launch. I don't know why I want to get them done by launch, but that's what I'm shooting for. Anyways, whoa, upskirt. Okay, anyways, I'm distracted. The most important tool, that's the first thing I'm going to cover. What's the most important tool for WvW World? And to me, it's chat. I know it sounds really lame and really stupid, but that little chat box in your lower left-hand corner there, to me, I think makes or breaks how successful your server is. Because even if you're in, like, VoiceOp, like, Ventrilo or Mumble or TeamSpeak with your guildies or your alliance, there's still probably a lot of other players running around the map that aren't in that, VoiceOp. So using map chat helps you to not map chat, but using chat, you better coordinate with all your players on the map at the same time. There's 3 different types of chats. 2 are exactly the same, and that's map chat and team chat. \M\T allows you to communicate on the map. Some people have a different designation between team and map, where team is used for more serious talk and map is more for silly talk. I just use map because I'm lazy. And so both actually do the same thing, which is allows you to communicate with your teammates across the map that you're currently on. Some people claim that team chat crosses all 4 maps. That might have happened in beta 1. Where chat was broken and you actually had cross-realm, like cross-server chat too. Mike Ferguson of ArenaNet during beta weekend 2 made an announcement that team chat, map chat, exactly the same. They want to do a cross, all 4 WvW World chat, but currently they could not get it to work right. So, whatever. Local chat is localized to like the area right around you, and I like using that when we're doing a specific objective. Like here, we're attacking Bravost on the Eternal Battlegrounds, and instead of flooding the entire map chat with what I'm doing or what these guys are doing, where our Zerg is doing, we don't want to bug the guys at Stone Mist or at another objective. Let's just keep it to ourselves. Local chat. So that's chat, and I would check it every so often to see what's going on. I apologize if people are making Chuck Norris jokes or whatnot, but for me, map chat's important because communication and coordination with your entire team on the map that you're on is going to more or less help you and your side win. Does that make sense? All right, moving on. The next point I want to cover is focus fire. If you're in a party, you could always control T and Shift T. I don't know what the other T is. But you could focus down, put a target on someone's head, and focus, burn them down with your attacks. It's a lot more efficient, and I recommend that. If you're not in a party or if you're in a mass group of people, you could just scroll through the enemies and target the ones with less health. I'm a thief player, so I kill steal because I steal things. So that might be in my nature. But it actually helps a lot. Another thing to really look out for is using your support skills. Every profession has some form of support. Either it'd be a buff to swiftness, might, or whatever, or you help refill all the endurance, for your teammates around you, or just whatever. Use your support. Even if you're the best player out there and you think you're so uber good, that's fine. But if the rest of your players suck, buff them up a little bit. Give them a little support. That's what this game is about, teamwork. One other aspect of teamwork is rezzing your dead. And to me, rezzing your dead is really important because for each player you get up, that's another full player running around causing trouble somewhere, right? And there are 2 states, the down state, which is featured right here, versus the dead state, which is all grayed out. When a player is downed, they're much easier to resurrect or to get back up because they have a lot more hit points, and I think the hit points flow faster versus someone who's already dead. Someone who's already dead, like right here, it'll just take a lot longer to get them up because you're starting from 0. But as more players come in to resurrect, the faster they get up. One thing to also note is that for dead players, you could constantly go back and forth and try to add more life to their little dead bar thing. That dead bar cannot drop for dead players, while for down players, if that dead bar drops to 0, then they are dead, like what we just saw. One cool thing is that every profession can resurrect all other classes or whatever. You just run up to a downed or dead player and press F. One other thing to note though is a lot of times players will use dead players as bait. So say someone is behind a ballista and they're shooting you and they kill your teammates or whatever. You're like, oh, I'm going to go and resurrect my teammate. You run up to your teammate, they shoot you and you die. Then one of your teammates is like, oh my gosh, as he died, let me go res them. They run over, boom, they're dead. So don't get baited by enemies and just use your judgment on when you think is the best time to resurrect your players. The next tool we're going to look at is using map. Map is really important because you can see where your teammates are, your party mates are, or your squad mates are, and it also helps you get a bigger picture view of what's going on. So what I'm going to do now is go into a static page to kind of go over what I do when I open up my map. Learning how to use the map to your advantage is really important. When you get to the map page, it's good to just kind of scroll around, check out what's going on. Usually I like to make sure that our major objectives are still ours. Say like, Darius is blue, Quentin is still blue. Okay, these are safe. The Hylics down here are blue. Okay, we're good over there. And then check the sentries. Sentries kind of function like radars because if enemies are coming in and they kill your sentry, they might then, it indicates they're like, oh, they're around here because they just killed our sentry. One thing to note is these cross swords. Cross swords indicate where battles are taking place. The white ones indicate anywhere from like 2 to 5 players or NPCs are attacking that location. A lot of times you'll see a supply camp getting hit and you're like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of enemies there. They're trying to take over a supply camp. Maybe not. Maybe it's just a Dolyak trying to get out and there's 2 cave bats or a little lizard trying to kill it. So that's something for you to consider. But orange cross swords usually mean, I think it's like 6 or more players. I don't really have it down packed, but it means there's a bigger battle going on. And so if you're new to the map, those are places you might want to check out. It's like, oh, I want to go and fight where all the action is. And learn to read your map. They have like roads indicated here for a reason. So take these paths, take these roads. They're usually a little bit safer, but because there's no like NPC animals around to eat you. Also, always look out for a little Dolyaks and where they are where they are on the map, because the Dolyaks are kind of showing where the supply is going. So here from Downlands Passage, this Dolyak's coming to drop off some supply at Quinton Lake, which is good. And so if like, oh, Quinton has 100 out of 100 supply and a Dolyak's almost here, I could take some supply out of Quinton and use it for whatever else and run off with it because the Dolyak's going to replenish it. That makes any sense to you. So having map awareness, kind of guesstimating where the enemies are on the map at any given time, that is going to be very strategically important for you on a basic level. I only do this on a basic level. I don't really do it like on an advanced level. So that's something for you to consider. That map is also a very important tool when you are doing World v World. Always check it like maybe every few minutes or so. Especially if you want to have like more situational awareness of like where the enemies are, where they're headed, and you can start guessing where they're going to start going based on their activities on the map. And you're fighting against human players, so they may not always be as predictable as NPCs. So that's also something to consider. A few last notes for this particular guide. Don't get tunnel vision, meaning always try to have map situation awareness around you. Know if the enemies are coming in from your flanks or from behind you or whatnot. And use chat. Use chat to tell your teammates, hey, incoming from our west or right or behind or whatever. Just always communicate and always let your teammates know what's going on. And just be aware of what's going on around the map. Also, don't chase your enemies too far. Honestly, like for instance, in this example, in this video, our forces chased the green team all the way to their keep, and now they're getting pounded, and we're going to have to run away. If you chase your foes too far, they're going to come back and be able to swarm you, or just really draws you away from your team. In a game like this, and I hate to say it, but numbers matter. Fighting with your teammates, gives you a slight advantage or a lot more advantage than if you weren't with them. So don't chase too far. Divide and conquer, that's what you do to the enemies, not let them do to you. And you could use chasing as a principle, but baiting your enemies out to your greater forces. Likewise, stay near your objectives. If you're fighting enemies, your objectives usually have like NPC guards that are still alive or whatnot. stay near them. Let the guards beat up and pound on your enemies. You don't have to be like solo Uber Rambo and kill them all by yourself. Final consideration for this video is some players complain that these World v World maps are just huge. They're actually not that big. It actually doesn't take you all that long to get from one location to the other. Dying and restarting and running time is an element of death. It's a mechanic for death, so don't die as frequently. Be smarter in how you play. Also, really consider getting swiftness buffs or other speed buffs for your profession. Anyways, that's it for now. I'm going to try to do another video on Siege, hopefully before launch. If you have any comments, feedback, questions, concerns, just leave them below. And thank you for watching. See you guys in game in a few days. A day, not a few.